Good evening, everyone. My name is Ashlayan Mowat. I am the blog manager and founder of LiveWellJA.com, and I'm happy to have you here for the inaugural Get the Job Resume Building Workshop. So these workshops will be, we're hoping to host them every quarter, and basically we consider them professional development workshops for people like you who want to get yourself ready for the world of work. So some of you are Live Well Jamaica digital media interns. Thank you for being here. And some of you may be students in high school. I know some of you are currently seeking, or most of you are seeking a job. Well, I am pleased to announce that you are in good company, because we have the best resume building and writing and career advice coach in our midst, right? And you'll meet her shortly. She'll give you a full a detailed introduction of what she does, but just to let you know, her name is Mrs. Angela deFreitas, and she is the manager of Choices Career and Education Advice Company. So thank you, Mrs. deFreitas, for being here. She will be presenting to you insightful information on how to write a resume that will get you the job in 2021. I know many of you are looking to get jobs this summer to help mommy, daddy, grandma, grandpa offset some of the tuition fees, or just for yourself, so that you can finally get that apartment, right? Or even buy that car, or pay for your student loan. Well, you're in the right space. Now, we prepared a nice video for you, just so it's a box pop, just so that you are better situated as to what it takes to write a resume that will get recruiters, employers ringing off your phone. And trust me when I tell you, it is possible. All right. So take out your notepad, turn on the notepad app on your phone, and start making notes, because we are starting now. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Right. And I'm going to start from here. Okay, just a minute. I know exactly what happened. Okay, just a minute. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you once more.
Hello, I'm Allison. I need a summer job to help my parents with my tuition fees. My parents think I am lazing around the house all day and idling, but the truth is, I'm really struggling to write my resume. Can you relate?
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Jamie Lee Brown, and I'm currently a virtual assistant. I'm also a blogger, and I'm a YouTuber at the moment until other things fall in line. But for now, I'm working with those.
So, good day, everyone. My name is Horace Collins, and I am the managing director and owner of Errands.com. Errands.com is a personal assistant service providing company that caters to customers' needs.
Well, my name is Darius Shields, a content creator. I don't limit myself to titles because I believe that anything that you're doing, you should never limit yourself, because limiting yourself puts you in a box, and you don't want to put yourself in a box, no matter how good you are in anything. I studied accounting. I have my accounting degree, the ACCA. I almost finished a marketing associate, and my dream, my true calling, told me to literally stop while I had a 4.0 GPA and all that. Currently, I create, like I said, a content creator. I create films, I create music videos, documentary series, live streaming events, photography, for companies, individuals, and just for fun sometimes. But I mean, I don't limit myself.
Hi, my name is Atenza. I am a teacher and a massage therapist. And yeah.
Hi, my name is Phyllis Cohen, and I am the CEO at Jesse's Gifts and Decor.
Right. My name is Amara J. Taylor, and currently I'm a internet analysis and as well as a hospitality freelance.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Ashiana White, and I'm an account management associate.
This is going to sound bad. I wrote my first resume at, I think I was 19.
I was about 16. The thing about it is that I didn't grow up with silver spoon. I had to help out in the family in whatever way I could. And one of the best ways is to get odd jobs. You never know. Most times persons would say to you, can I see your resume in terms of what you can do and those type of stuff. So I always created it. I'm always forward thinking. So I created my resume. Didn't have much on it. It just had, oh, I'm about to do CXC, and oh, I'm skilled in graphic designing and those type of stuff. But yeah, I started my resume very young, and I continuously got training throughout high school, in college and university and all of that type of stuff. So each time I learned more about how to actually create a resume. But I mean, I started off pretty young because, like I said, I'm forward thinking. So yeah.
I think I wrote my first resume at about 15. Not many persons know this about me, but I used to write for a newspaper. At the time, the Sunday Herald had a publication called the Love Herald, and it was also around the time when the Teen Herald was a thing, and I applied to the Teen Herald as a teen writer and ended up landing a job with the Love Herald instead. So that was when I wrote my first resume.
Taking back, I actually wrote my first resume in high school. It was for a summer job. Maybe I was 17, about 17. Oh Lord, that was a resume. High school, and when I looked at actual resumes, maybe on the internet, they were asking for work experience. I'm in high school. Work experience? But I made it work. There are ways to get by as someone without any work experience. There are things that we can put to pad the resume to make it look as impressive as employers would want to see. Thank God for school.
my experience, in terms of what I've heard and also what I've witnessed myself, persons prefer a simple, to the point resume. So nothing too long, not too much reading.
My resume is 2 pages long. It's recommended that you don't go further than 2. I understand that you might have a lot of experience or a lot of activities that you were involved in. It is recommended that you keep the most up to date, as well as the ones that relate to the position that you're applying for the most. But don't keep it longer than 2 pages, as hiring HR officers chances are they're not going to read more than 2 pages.
In high school, they never really teach you about resume, which is very bad, extremely bad, because this is a document that literally they're going to make you money. See? So, majority of the students in high school, including me, we don't really know about resume. All the time when we know about resume when we leave school, when we're ready for search a job. Yeah? So, immediately after I leave sixth form, right? That was when, right? We look up on Google how to create a resume, and then we sit down, we take my time, I want to go water, I want to go champagne with me, and we build my resume. So it's basically, I leave school when I was 17.
One of the most necessary parts that I would say of my resume is my experience and certainly my qualifications, right? Because before, you get to find out, is this person a good cultural fit for the organization based on what we might see here, or certainly if you get to that stage, the interview, they need to know, have you met the basic requirements to be able to do this job?
You customize your resume based on that information. I remember now, because most persons do, yeah, they think that is a one size fit. No, it's not gonna work. No, so see, you can't just have one resume. I say no, just one resume for 10 companies. No, you customize. Because remember now, the resume is a customization. The CV, are the general thing. So you want to customize your resume based on what the company want. It's like a business. You start a business. Yeah, perfect analogy. You started a business, right? We might go off a topic a little bit, but you start a business. Then the first thing we are going to do for when you start a business is find that target audience, that target customer. See? And then you go develop marketing strategies to attract that customer. Now look on the analogy. It's the same concept, See? When you build a resume, right? Your resume is the business, your business. The company is your target audience. See? So you want to put information on that resume, right? That can attract that company. So if the first thing when they look on it, they say, yeah, we need to interview you. See? So make sure, if you know who the interviewer, you're good. Because they can use psychology on them, See? We do a psychology course last year. And the one thing we learned from that psychology class, when the lecturer say, if you want to influence people, ensure that you arouse an eager wants in them. So yeah. So if you want to influence people, ensure that you arouse an eager wants in them. Same concept. See? So if you know what specifically the company is looking for, or if you know the interviewer based on your research, and you have a sense of what this interviewer is. Maybe after you're reading biography and all that, so you read say, oh, the man you love people who create it. I say, oh, The man love people who have high achievement. So that's what I mean. Yeah. So what you're gonna do now? You're gonna customize your resume. Yeah. You're gonna customize your resume. Not what you want, you're gonna customize your resume based on what the company wants, based on what you find, which information, the information you find upon the interview. So if you realize that you like people who are creative, make sure your resume display that creativity. Because once you display that creativity on your resume, right? Enough you will read it, is that that person, or you say, I'm creative, I want it. Simple. See?
I mean, nowadays they're looking for they're hiring people like they want you to have like 10 years of experience when you just leave school. So I would say that they're looking for the experience, but that's not the most important thing they're looking for. I think they're looking for like your skills, like what you can actually do, because people looking for skills. You have a lot of stupid people with good skills and good job. They just know the skill, but them they really have up here all the time, but they know how to do the skills. How am I applying for a job to do writing or do public relations or whatever, and I'm going to tell them that I clean rooms? How is that helping me get the position? It's not helping. It makes no sense. So why would I put it on it? So I put things like, okay, so on my resume that I have right now, with not my current job, I don't work there anymore. I tend to say my current job a lot. So in my previous job, I was a communications assistant at a marketing agency. And when I was applying for the job, they asked for a resume, asked for everything, the whole story, it's actually. So I gave them a resume, and on the resume, I wrote that I was an intern at Live Well Jamaica, and I state what I did there. And I also wrote that I worked at UTech. I worked in the communications department at UTech, and I may have, what else I put on that resume? I think I have 3 things. I have a general resume, but when I was applying for the job, I made it specific to what the job similar to. So I think I put 3 jobs relating to the job post that I was applying for. So what I did at Live Well relates to what the job was about. Same thing for what I did at UTech, and I don't remember what else, but I put another. But I didn't lie for sure. I did not lie. That's the next thing. Please do not lie in your resume. It makes no sense.
Because I'm an actor, but I'm also a director. A director, casting director, or a film director, or a producer, those are the persons who look at an acting resume. What they would look at is definitely your headshot. So with your headshot, they are going to look for if you match a character. So let's say, for example, you're playing a gangster, right? They're not gonna particularly go for someone who has on like those big bug-eyed glasses and braces and those type of stuff, because that's not the regular gangster look. But then the next thing they look for is what would happen if he takes off that glass, right? So that's why it's always asked that you put it's important that your headshot that you choose is very, very, very similar to the role that you're hoping to play. And it's also good for you to do some amount of research before you sending a resume. No resume should ever be standardized. That's something I've learned over the years. I've done standardized resume to say, oh, I worked at Vistaprint for 5 years in customer service and website designing and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going for a project with like or a film project. How that makes sense? Customer service doesn't make no sense if you want to be a director for a film project. That doesn't make no sense. You understand? But if it is that it's something like I did martial arts, that is something you'd want to put on it. If it's something like you can sing, that is something you'd want to put on it. If it's something like, for example, you got trained by a big name, Storm Salter, Chris Brownie, you worked with them. Persons would want to at least meet up with you because they're like, oh, you work with somebody who's really good. So that means that maybe you are pretty good. So let's have a meeting. Let's chat.
Preparing a resume, like I said before, you need to separate yourself from every other candidate. And it is very important that what the recruiter sees first, when they look at your resume, tells them enough information about you to separate you from somebody else. So, for example, your awards, your accolades, your recognition, those things are very important because yes, everybody has a degree right now. Everybody has 10 Cs. But what is your extracurricular activity? What makes you stand out from the next person who has their 10 Cs? So definitely awards and recognition are very important, and any other, additional accolades that you might have garnered.
Currently, I search for jobs. Yeah, what LinkedIn can do, because LinkedIn smart, See, so what LinkedIn, after you put in all of your details in LinkedIn, your qualifications, your CXC, your KF, all of them stuff. If a company is hiring, right, and then put them application on the LinkedIn profile, and your requirements, fit the application. What LinkedIn can do now, LinkedIn can notify you and say, yo, we have an application for you. So it literally, the LinkedIn profile literally do the job for you. So you don't have to go there and search, Yeah, you have to do it, but LinkedIn can do that for you as well. Yeah. Also, the reason why you have want a LinkedIn profile as well is to supplement the information on the resume, right? Because if you have critical information and say you can't work on your resume, then you put it on the LinkedIn profile. And what you can do too on this, I'm talking based on what I did, my experience, and what I'm currently doing. My LinkedIn link, the link to my LinkedIn profile is on my resume, is on my CV. Yeah. So when I'm sending out resume, I'm know say more information need to pick up on this resume. Yeah. So me just insert the link to my CV and the link to my LinkedIn. Right. So if the hiring managers find your resume interesting and they want to know information, just one click, and you go to your LinkedIn profile and you give up all that relevant information there, right? So that's another one. Another reason as well is because LinkedIn is about what you call it now, recommendation and connections, So let's say you apply for a call center work, yeah. Your friend tell about a call center work, and this friend is on LinkedIn. Yeah, what you can do now is request a LinkedIn recommendation from that friend. Yeah, and capitalize on that recommendation, on that connection, right? Because what this do now, this help boost your credibility to the company. Because if the person who work at the company, especially if it's a employee where good and thing, and the company knows I'm good and thing, and they recommend you. It got to say something to the company. It got to say something. Another reason as well, as job seekers, yeah, my reason gone, I give reason based on fun. So another reason is that they can actually research companies, research the interviewer. Yeah, so especially if the company submit if they must seek workers on the platform, you do your research, because Google might not tell everything, but LinkedIn will tell everything, right? So do your research, especially if you know who are going to interview you. Yes, if you know the name of the interviewer, there's a high percentage they might get on LinkedIn, especially if it's a big company. See? So you go on your LinkedIn and you type in your company, you type in your interview.
A great platform, and I guess a lot of other persons, because not only can your resume be on there, but it's a platform for you to be social as it regards to work and professionalism. Oh, plus I learned the other day that LinkedIn does have courses. So for persons who would like to build their professional wealth of knowledge, LinkedIn offers courses in communication, leadership, you name it, they have it. As long as it has to do with building your personal wealth in knowledge, LinkedIn has it there.
That is where businesses go to establish their presence, and they're moving more into the digital age. And one of the things I really like about LinkedIn is that you can follow your entire profile, and there's also a place where you can it will write almost like a resume for you, because all the information is already filled out there. And so I think you can actually make it into a document, and you can send that to companies, as well as they're already there on the platform looking for new hires. And when you fill it out properly, your profile can come up in searches for them, which is super cool. Actually, I got the job that I'm in now through LinkedIn. I am a digital marketing officer at Digital Global Marketing Limited in Kingston. And I mean, I haven't started as yet, but I love my job. Okay. And yeah, so as well as, you want to give off a professional look. And if the businesses are already having conversations there on LinkedIn, you want to be a part of that conversation. It makes you seem a lot more professional, a lot up to date, and it's an easy platform to use. Yeah, get yourself on LinkedIn. I mean, you already have an Instagram. Why not?
LinkedIn also looks at your qualifications and recommends to you jobs that suit your experience and qualifications. So definitely, if you want to get recruited, if you want to get employed, you definitely have to have a LinkedIn profile.
Hello, I'm
All right, so I hope you learned a lot from that video presentation. Just an extended box pop with professionals in different industries, right? Sharing their resume writing tips. But remember, I promise you that we are in good company. So we have with us, for the people who are just joining, the manager of Choices Career and Education Advice Company, Mrs. Angela deFreitas, and I will just allow her to take over the floor now.
Thank you very much, Ashley. I feel really pleased to be here this evening with all of you. I see you have some of your interns and others, and I'm really enjoying the evening so far, and I hope that what I have to add will help to give some practical approaches to preparing that resume. What I liked about what we've seen so far is the strong association with LinkedIn, because I mean, we're virtual now, and anything I tell you about in paper and pencil, you must also make sure that you're developing and adding it to your online profile, so that if anybody goes and clicks on an online source, it's up to date and it looks just as good as you look in person. So I'm going to share my screen with the presentation that I have for you, which is right here, and which is called Get That Job with That Winning Resume. So that's the idea here this evening. We want you to leave here feeling confident and comfortable. I know that some of you said you don't have any resume yet. You've never written one before. Well, this will be your choice or your opportunity to understand what that resume should contain and why it's going to help you to really get that job. And that's what you want it to do. Because you're going to find, as I've heard, that many people have those 10 C6 subjects, Many people have that degree. Many people have that same qualification that you have. So it's literally a race that you're running. You're trying to reach ahead of the others by somehow presenting something that's going to make you look different, something that's going to make you outstanding. So remember, it's a race to the top. So it's about resume writing. Now, first of all, what I want you to start to understand is that it's not just about your resume. It starts out with you being an entire package, and you're going to create something called a career portfolio, and your resume is just a part of it. Because as you search for the right job has also got to be matching you and also matching the skills that you have. So you have to, first of all, definitely have an understanding about the skills you have. Because when you know who you are in detail and in depth, you're going to be able to put it out on paper or virtually in such a way that it brings you to life and people think they've known you even before they've met you. Now, the skills are so important, and we always say that with skills you win, and with no skills you lose. I really want you to think about that for a moment, because if, as we've heard, many people have the same qualifications, the same CSEC subjects, the same degree from college or university, maybe even the same second degree, it's your skills, your experiences, and your expertise that are going to make you outstanding. Now, we've all heard, and even in some of the videos, that they want you to have 5 years experience, 3 years experience, 10 years experience, and you're just leaving high school. How are you supposed to fill that qualification there? But you can be developing skills wherever you are in life, even if you are in school, even if you are still studying, even if you're just graduating. Remember, you must develop your skills. First of all, you must identify your skills, then you must develop those skills, then you must use those skills to help you to win. Because as I said, and as you can see, with skills you win, and with no skills you lose. Now, also in creating your resume and in using that resume, you have to make sure long before that you're networking with the right people, because some of those people are going to be able to help you to develop that resume. They're going to be able to help you to channel that resume in the right direction. And they're also going to help you to step up from wherever you are. So you must network with positive people. Remember, I'm dealing with the things that surround your resume and that surround you, because a resume is not the be all and end all. It's just part of one entire process, and you are an important part of that process. Also, in your network of positive people will probably be a couple who you will use as references on your resume or at the job interview, or if you are being lined up to be seriously considered for that job. So that's why it's important that you network or start networking right now with positive people, because they are going to come into your development of your resume. Now, you also want to be following in the footsteps of A positive or positive mentors. You will see what they have been doing in life, how they have done it, and they will be able to help you up and lead you along the way. Now, once again, all this comes into your resume. So think about not just the resume, but everything surrounding it, which is the entire career portfolio and the entire package which you are presenting to a potential employer. You're going to get the help through the mentorship and the leadership which others will offer you. Others who are older than you, more mature than you, have more experience than you out in the workplace, and they will be able to tell you what it's like and how you're going to get through there. Do you know that in many cases, that first job is through someone who you know, whether it's a summer job while you're still in school or studying, or whether it is that first real job out there. So the career portfolio is something in which you're going to keep this wonderful collection of important information that's going to help you in moving along on your path to success. Now, in this portfolio, you'll bring together information about you, your aspirations, your interests, and your experiences. And one of those important things in that portfolio will be your resume. Now, I'm going to show you a video which is going to help you to understand what this resume is all about, and then I'll continue the presentation with more suggestions for you. But watch this video in the meantime. I hope I'm going to, okay, here we go. So your resume and cover letter should be updated regularly. Have original and certified copies of everything that you think is important in there, your external exams, your college credits, all of those things. Now, you should also ensure that your writing is up to standard. So what is a resume? Now, this resume can be virtual or it can be physical. As you see somebody there at the desk, they're writing a resume. And I suggest that even if you're going to put your resume on LinkedIn or some other virtual platform, there is a point before that, and even while you're in the process, where you will sit down and you will have pen and paper and you will make valuable notes to remind yourself at all times of things which should go into that resume. Now, you can do it in your phone if you don't want to use pen and paper, and make those notes so that when you are putting it together, there's nothing that you forget. So all of your personal education, professional qualifications, work experience will be used in preparing this resume. So make sure at all times you're noting them so you do not forget what they are. Because this resume, remember, is a sales letter, which is a powerful advertisement about you and what you can do. So you may ask yourself, how come I've reached this far and I don't have a resume? And quite frankly, when I was watching the videos, I was like, when did I write my first resume? And I really can't remember, but I know it must have been a long time ago. But I think the first job that I got was really based on an application letter, which was found to be acceptable and which led me to an interview. But now, what we have
Hi, Mrs. deFreitas, no audio.
Okay, let me go back to where I was. I was trying to cancel the noise in the background. I hope it's not going to disturb you at this point. Tell me if it is. Hearing you now. Okay, that's great. So everyone needs a resume. You do, and everyone does. Anyone who considers him or herself as being part of the future labor force or who wishes to be part of it is going to need that resume. If you want a job, you'll need a resume. It's that simple. So don't think that you can get in through a door because you know someone or because your parents know someone or you have a good friend in there already. You will still need that resume because that resume is the introduction. So why have a resume? It's to introduce yourself, to get you that interview, and to show that you understand the needs and requirements of the job market generally, and of that specific job that you're applying for. And I think I heard that coming out as well in one of the Vox Pop interviews. You're going to tailor yourself and your resume to suit the job that you're applying for. What I'm going to suggest is that you can have one general, large resume in which at any time you can add your skills, new skills, you can add new qualifications, you can add new work experiences. But when it comes to actually applying for that job, you're going to look at the job and make sure you whittle down that resume so that it matches the job. You're not going to send that all of that big general information that you've been gathering for 3 or 5 years. You're going to pick out the relevant pieces of information in order to apply for that job. Why is that an important point? It's important because recruiting managers these days, hiring officers, HR managers, whatever you want to call them, they are flooded by resumes. They're also very busy. They have lots of other aspects of their work. So they don't want to have to wade through your 5 pages of qualifications and experience in order to work out whether or not you're suited to their job. So if you can keep that resume on one and a half, or maximum 2 pages, you have a much better chance of having a recruiter read that resume. When you start turning out 3, 4, and 5-page resumes, no one at this point has time to read all those pages. So you have to identify the important points relating to the job that you want and put them in that shortened version of your resume. But it's still very important, as I said, to have that big general stash of information so that when you're ready, you can pick, choose, and refuse according to the job that you're applying for. So what should be included? Now, you can include everything in your general resume, because remember, that general resume isn't going anywhere. It's staying on your system, on your phone, on your laptop, iPad, whatever it's on, because it's going to be the source from which you then pick the information you will put into your abbreviated resume, which is going out for the job applications. But there are certain basic information which you will always put in a resume. Now, your name, of course, must be there. We don't want any pet name. We don't want any, it has to be your real name, because when you get that job, it's going into the system of your workplace. And if it's a job that's not on, if it's a name that's not on your birth certificate, you're going to find complications way down the road, or even when it's time for the company to sign you up for health insurance, you're going to have a different name. When it's time for them to sign you up for maybe overseas travel, you have a different name. So make sure it is the name through which you're gonna go through life, and preferably the name which is on your birth certificate. Now, your address is becoming more and more optional these days. It's not up to a recruiter to determine whether or not you live in Montego Bay, therefore a job in Kingston is not suitable for you. You can make that decision. Don't let a recruiter make that for you. Your telephone number and email address, very important, because that is how they're going to contact you. They're no longer going to write you a letter to say come for an interview. They're going to be either emailing you or picking up the phone to call you. I remember my first job, well, my first real job interview, I think I got a telegram to say come for an interview. But of course, what's a telegram? It doesn't exist anymore. And it's almost like your address. They're not going to be sending you something to a street address. So it's your telephone number and your email address, which are the most important. Now,
what makes a great resume
letter,
and a great cover?
One that you're putting together might eventually look like this. And you'll notice that it doesn't start off with your qualifications or your educational list of institutions that you attended. It starts out with the skills that you have, and those skills should relate to the job you're applying for. For example, this person with these skills in fruit carving, sauce making, poultry slicing, obviously is going into hospitality, hotel or restaurant, and wants those skills to come to mind immediately when a recruiter picks up this resume. Major achievements, also very important. What have you done that's outstanding, which will recommend you further for the job that you're interested in? Now, this is a kind of entry-level resume that you're looking at. And it's going back to things that were done in high school. Because if, for example, you are just leaving high school and you may now be applying for a summer job, you will have to try to find the things in high school which made you a leader, which made you a good team player, which made you a good communicator, which showed that you had good listening skills, good speaking skills, whatever is required for the job that you're interested in. Now see where education comes on this resume. After what I just told you are the actual work experiences, because they are going to say you are employable. Now, there are many things that we don't think of as work experience, but which are, or opportunities that you can dig around for and see if you can get something. For example, you may be passing through the school office one day, whether it's school or college, and somebody's photocopying some documents. You can offer to help them to clip them together, staple them, collate them by hand, whatever. That is work experience. So whatever opportunity you see in front of you, try to grab it, because you're looking for things that can go on your resume at a time when you may really not have anything. So see where education comes. Education is low on the list because everyone has a certain level of education and a certain amount of qualifications. So try to highlight as much as you can the special skills you have, the achievements you have, and any experience that you have, because those are the things that are going to make you outstanding. Also, try to make sure that your references will be able to add to what you are saying. If someone calls them up to ask about you, make sure you have briefed them sufficiently on who you are, what you've done, and what they positively think about you. Now, your cover letter, which goes with the resume, must verify and build on and highlight, pick out certain things in the resume, and it must be in the same style and format, in the same typeface, with the same paper, whether it's a gray paper or a white paper, but nothing too fancy, unless it's a very creative or artistic kind of employment that you're looking for, in which case that might be a way of showing that you are artistic, creative, and more outstanding than other people. But other than that, your resume and cover letter should be standard, similar to each other, with standardized margins, standardized paragraph spaces, standardized typeface, and standardized size letter font sizes. Now, if you have any questions, you can raise your hand, and you can also put them in the chat. What I have for you here are some resume do's. Now, what you should be doing, and I want you to imagine what your resume is going to look like. I've showed you one, but you know what you want yours to look like, because it depends on the job you are applying for. But it should be professional looking. You should be using easy to read fonts. Now, a couple are suggested there for you, but they're not the only fonts. But those are clean, they're neat. And Arial, for example, has a, what do they call it? One that can be narrowed. That means if you want to get more on a page without it looking crowded or cramped, you can use a narrow font in order to get more on, so that on your one page, you will get on more than if you use a different font, which is more spaced out, like a Garamond or a Times. So choose the categories to emphasize your individual strengths. Now, you saw that on the previous resume where the person highlighted their special skills. Now, you might highlight different skills, but you will categorize them so that they relate to the position you're applying for. You can also use underlining, bold letters, or italics in order to emphasize categories or important topics. Now, you should, however, keep your format consistent. As I said, the font size, the typeface, the order of the information, and the general layout. Now, some more resume do's. Now, you're going to have to think about language. Now, it's best to keep it as simple, understandable, and as concise as possible, because once again, recruiters really don't have the time to wade through too much or to try to think through what it is exactly that you were trying to express. So you can make a list of, for example, power verbs which you'd like to use, but it doesn't mean you need to use all of them. Just pick out those which relate to what you want to say and use those. Now, something else that's very important in the short space that you have is that because everyone or a lot of people have the same qualifications and some may even have similar experience, you are going to make yourself outstanding by quantifying what you've done or qualifying your accomplishments. What do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. If you want to quantify something, you may be in a group of students who you know have all done the same things you have done, And you may all be looking at the same company and saying, you know, they give summer jobs, I'm going to apply there. So you're going to want to be outstanding. So whereas everybody may be able to say, I helped in such and such a department, you will quantify that help and say, I helped every single weekend, which says that you weren't just casual. You didn't just do it now and again, or you didn't just do it in order to put it on your resume, maybe once in a while. You were committed to it. You did this every school holiday that you had. I took this voluntary work and I did it every weekend. Every week at my church, I committed myself to XYZ. Quantify what you did and qualify any accomplishments also. Now, the next point is only include non-work experience which is relevant, i.e., don't put on things like you went to summer camp. Attending summer camp for whatever reason should not be on your resume unless you attended summer camp as a counselor, i.e., you were part of the working team that helped to organize the camp, helped to run activities for camp members. But attending summer camp, just because you registered and wanted to go for a break, is not relevant on your resume. Things like that are relevant if the work experience or the expertise that you gathered is relevant. Now, you must also find a way of emphasizing your transferable skills. Now, transferable skills are skills that you can take from one job, from one workplace, or even from one, for example, environment, let's say, to another. Because I'm thinking that you're saying to yourself, what job is she talking about? I've never had a job. So how am I going to have transferable skills? Well, you can have transferable skills from the same either voluntary experiences that you take on or from whatever small jobs that you might be doing. Someone on one of the videos said that he didn't grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth. He had to be working on odd jobbing from he was young and in secondary school. From those experiences, you can get skills which you can use in a workplace or use in another job if you are in a job. Now, it's going to be very important to keep your information up to date, edit and proofread multiple times, i.e. yourself and others. Ask someone to help you to review what you have written because you want that resume and cover letter to be 100% perfect. You don't want any typo in it. You don't want any spelling error in it. Don't put anything out there either in print or on LinkedIn which has in errors. If you need help, Choices is here to help you. Now, an important point was stressed also in those videos. Find out who your resume is going to and what they're looking for. The job title isn't all it is. It's about what that person does, who they work with, and also who is going to interview you, because sometimes you can impress that person with just one line of information in your resume. But you have to think and think clearly at all times and in every single instance about the resume that you're creating. Why am I creating it? Where is it going to? Who is going to read it? And take the information out of your general resume, as I keep saying. Your set margins should be less than 0.5. Okay. Should not be less than 0.5 of an inch. That means not too close to the edge of the page. You want to get on as much as possible, but fiddle with your fonts in order to do that, and your content, i.e. use the narrow ones as I told you. And don't use the fancy and unusual. These are resume don'ts. Don't use a font size below 10 point because people like me won't be able to read it, and we will not be amused if we cannot read it. And anything below 10 point is really a bit small, especially if the light is not good. Don't exaggerate your experiences or accomplishments because you'll get found out and you'll be caught. Don't include confidential information, i.e. you don't have to give personal information about yourself, your marital status, number of children that you have, or that kind of thing. So those are some resume don'ts. Also, do not use slang, either in the resume content or in your cover letter. Do not go to town on personal or relevant information. Don't put the word resume at the top. Don't include salary expectations or information. Don't include reasons for leaving a previous job. That's your business. If you're asked, you will know how to put it. Don't include a personal section or any personal statistics or the color of your eyes. Don't show laziness by writing to whom it may concern, dear sir or madam, or any suitable person. Find out who you're sending this resume and cover letter to and address it properly. Now, I thank you all for the time. I hope that you have gathered some further information in addition to what was presented in the box pop. And I would like to leave you with a video which I hope will summarize everything.
What makes
And
a great
I'm not
resume
sure
and a great cover letter?
why.
What's important to know is that these are marketing documents. It's also important to know that the average employer now takes up only about 7 seconds. So they're not reading these resumes, they're skimming these resumes. So they need to know right off the bat how you add value. So here's a great example of a recent alum's resume. It's 1 page, although 2 pages would be fine. This person has their contact information. They are then listing their education, although it's possible to put the education at the bottom. You need to ask yourself, is it my education that's more marketable or is it my experience? This is also a good resume because rather than just a mini job description in the experience section, this former student is using what we call accomplishment statements to describe his experience. Basically 3 criteria. You want to begin with a nice strong action verb, and in our resume writing handout we have a list of 100+ action verbs. Then as you write each of your sentences or phrases, you want to say to yourself, so what? Big deal. So I did that. How did I make a difference? Did I increase anything, decrease, modify, or change? So if it's possible to pull out accomplishments and results. And the 3rd criteria would be to quantify information. Here's another strong example of a resume. What I like about what the student did is in the experience section, she has strong action verbs, she has strong results, but she also has strong numbers. She was able to quantify her results and accomplishments. In terms of cover letters, it's important again to know that this is another marketing document, relevant, should be 1 page, and should be a highly customized document. And basically, a cover letter is answering 2 questions. Why you for that specific position at that specific organization? So it's certainly important to have a strong resume and a cover letter, but But it's important to remember that the #1 job search strategy is networking, and you don't want to have an entirely reactive job search, just reacting to jobs that are posted on internet job boards, for example. The problem is you don't know them, they don't know you, your odds of being called in are probably slim. So I highly encourage you to implement networking, to conduct a series of informational meetings. So in fact, they're meeting you first, and then your resume comes along, and it's more of a placeholder, and then it doesn't weigh as much.
So I think that a common factor that has come out in the 3 things that have happened so far this evening, in the Vox Pop, in my presentation, and in this video, is networking. Now, networking, you may not have thought of it in relation to your resume, but networking is very, very important, and I'm going to leave you with that thought. How am I going to network in order to enhance myself and what I can put on my resume? So I want you to think about it, and I wish you all the best. And I want you to remember that Choices is here for you, and we can help you along the way. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. deFreitas. Trust me, I also learned something. Every time you do this presentation, I learned something, or I'm reminded of certain things. Thank you. Now, at this point, I am going to ask if there are any questions. You can write it in the chat and we'll respond. You're most welcome, Beyonce. I appreciate each of you who participated in our chat. Yeah, that was good as well. Just to let you know, Live Well Jamaica is in the business of by the work that we do at Live Well Jamaica aligns well with Choices Caribbean, right? Choices Caribbean is our main partner for our digital media internship program, right? And we love working with them. And one of the reasons we love working with them, we are able to offer you quality career and education advice. Now, Mrs. deFreitas mentioned something very important about skills. Can you tell me can you summarize, probably in just one sentence, what she said?
Can I do it?
Oh, give them a couple seconds to tell me in the chat. Nobody would like to give it a try? That part that flew over your head, reskills, and it's one of the very most important parts of this workshop. Okay, Mrs. deFreitas.
I've just given them a little hint in the chat. I don't know if anyone can finish it.
Everybody finish it. Remain, Traval, Beyonce, Chrisanne, Ariel, Shanice. I believe there was a Brittany who joined us just at the end. All right.
What was the question?
What did Mrs. deFreitas say about skills in her presentation? And she started it in the chat. She says, with skills you win.
Oh, win more.
That's good. That's excellent. Not quite right, but very close.
Yes, with skills you win. Nobody remember
With skills you lose.
Ah, we're getting there. Repeat that again.
With skills.
With skills you win, with skills you lose.
Okay, listen carefully. With skills you win.
Without skills
no
you lose.
skills you lose. Okay. with no skills you lose. Okay, thanks very much.
Exactly. I am inviting you all to spend this summer developing your skills. If you are interested in developing your skills in digital marketing, in digital media, you want to become a social media influencer, you want to become a YouTuber, you want to become a journalist, you want to become a marketer, then reach out to livewellja.com, reach out to Live Well Jamaica, and we will help you on that journey. So I believe there are no more comments, no more questions. I'm not seeing any in the chat. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. We will definitely keep your contact and let you know when next is your when next we'll have a professional development workshop. Enjoy the rest of your evening and bye-bye.